So anyway, I'm going to bring the next performer up to the stage. Some of you may know her from town. She just lives up the street in a quite historic building, I might say. And she is the owner of One Studio, right over there by Sharky's. It's a very cool place. They do a lot of massage and neat classes. And I just recently had my chart read. Not my blood pressure chart, but my astrology chart. And it was very enlightening. What I pretty much learned is that I'm here to promote consciousness, and I will never have a relationship. So I went away with that. So, oh well. But anyway, I adore her. It's been wonderful having her in the class. Please put your hands together for Christina Luna.
Thank you, Kat. All right. Are you guys ready? I have something a little weird to share with you tonight. I hear voices. I hear a lot of them. I hear like 12 voices in my head. And it was a little strange when it first started, but now it feels really normal. And I'm here as almost a public service announcement for all of the voices to let you know that you have voices too. You just think that they're you. but actually they're something else. I haven't figured it out yet. So for me, the voices started a few years ago. I was going through this really crazy young life crisis. Like, you know, a young life crisis where you're very young and you're very beautiful and you're very wealthy and you're married to a millionaire, you have a beautiful child, you live on a 300-acre ranch, and you wake up every day and you wish you would die. That's the kind of young life crisis I was going through. And so the thing I would do to help me not die is I'd go out running. And while I was out running, I started hearing voices, and they would tell me really weird stuff to do at first. Like the first time they started talking to me, they told me to stop and start doing squats right there in the middle of the forest. So I'm out there doing squats. And they're like, yeah, you need to count those. And I'm like, okay. So I'm counting the squats, and I get to 52 squats. And for some reason, that was the trigger. And all of a sudden, I'm downloading all this crazy information about the universe and synchronicity and all this stuff. So I run home, and I'm like, oh my God! And I'm telling my ex-husband about the crazy things that happened while I was out running. And he just kind of looks at me and shakes his head, and he's like, oh, babe. And that was the first time I got the look. And you guys all have the look right now. So you know what I'm talking about. And that's the funny thing about perspective, right? Like, from one person's perspective, a person can appear totally batshit crazy, right? But from another person's perspective, you can appear, let's say, spiritually gifted, okay? So I decided to take the perspective of spiritually gifted because it was difficult to believe I was crazy, right? So it didn't stop me, though, from going to a psychiatrist because I needed to be sure, you know. I wanted to make sure. So I go to the psychiatrist and I tell her, I'm worried I might be schizophrenic. I've got these people, and sometimes they argue, and they're telling me all this stuff. And so maybe you can help me out a little bit. And she's like, let's talk a little more about this. So I'm like, okay, well, you know. So I kind of lay it out. I tell her what goes on. I tell her all the stuff. They tell me to do internet searches, right? Like, it'll be the middle of the night, and they'll wake me up, and they'll say, hey, go to the internet and put in selenite, vibration, and horse. Run downstairs, and I'm like, oh my God, okay, so I type it in. I'm reading all these articles about ancient Norse goddesses and blah, 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 and I'm like, that's me! I'm doing that! Oh my God! Right? And so I tell the psychiatrist all this stuff, and she's like, and she gave me the look. I've come to recognize as a batshit crazy look. And it's okay, it's okay. So So she sends me home with some affirmations, you know, she gives me some like self-hypnosis work, and she kind of says, I'm sorry, there's just nothing I can do for you. You're gonna be okay. Alright, so I'm kind of on my own with this group of 12, and I'm pretty much doing everything they tell me to do at this point. And they tell me random things like, take a Navajo weaving class. Okay, I never even thought about weaving, but I go and I rock Navajo weaving. Like the first day of class, I'm like, it's like I got this little like Navajo grandma like sitting right next to me, and she's like, do this, do this, do this. And I rock the Navajo weaving. It's like, that was amazing. Like everyone thinks I'm a freaking genius, right? And I actually thought that was me, so my ego starts getting like huge, because not only do they help me weave, but like if I took a test, they would feed me all the answers, right? Like I went to massage school. They told me to go to massage school. I'm at massage school, taking a test, and the entire time in class, I'm like staring at a guy named Steve, by the way, Kat. I stare at this guy every single day in class. I'm not paying attention. Test time comes, and I'm like, the muscle that connects to the blah, 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 blah. I don't even remember this stuff, right? And I just ask my people, and they're like, trapezius. And I'm like, awesome, trapezius. 100%, 100%, 100% every single time. I mean, it's pretty awesome. But because I started trusting them, I trusted them with really big things too. Like, they told me to get divorced. And this was kind of a biggie, you know? They're like, don't worry. You can leave your millionaire husband. You can leave with nothing. Nothing. Just walk out with the clothes on your back. And I'm like, can we negotiate this a little? Like, just a little bit of furniture, maybe some pots and pans, you know? Just something, right? You know? And so we negotiated, and sure enough, I just got a couple things, enough to survive, and I was a single mother for a minute, and it totally was okay. They did help me through the transition, so I gotta say that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they do help me out a lot. For instance, they're the ones that told me to take this class. You know, a few months ago I was sitting in the class, I was sitting here in the audience, right? And my boyfriend, Steve, up here on the stage, and I was sitting back there and I was like, God bless him, you know? I am never going to do that, ever. And so some time passes, and I find myself sitting in the hot tub with Kat. And earlier that day, I'd read my horoscope, and my guys were telling me, like, it's time to amp up your public speaking skills, and blah, 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 blah. Sitting in the hot tub, Kat's like, yes, I'm teaching a class. And out of nowhere, I hear, you're taking that class. And I'm like, you're taking the class. And before I can even think, I hear, I guess I'm going to take your class, Kat Simmons. Yes! And I'm vomiting this yes into the hot tub. She's like, are you sure? Because she could pretty much tell that this is pretty much against my will. But I gotta say, even though I thought this class was gonna be completely batshit crazy, I've come to realize that it's completely a spiritually gifted class. And I'm really grateful that I got to come here and tell you guys a little bit about what's going on. I don't really tell anybody, so now you all know. Thank you very much.
All those people in her head, I had to charge her 13 times. She came up with the money. Yeah, the first night she was sharing with it. It really is like a group therapy in a way. Everybody is very vulnerable and very honest, because that's really how I direct the students to write is, don't come in here with your, shaky jokes or your internet jokes or your barbershop jokes, because that's not what this class is about. It really is about writing from your center out. And everybody gets really honest and vulnerable and tells the truth. And the look on her face, honestly, after Lynn's class, we're sitting up there soaking for a few minutes because we sneak over to the hot tubs after. Don't tell, always. Oh, we got a wristband. Paper wristband, $8. Get out of my way. So we're sitting in the and honest to God, I thought she had gas or something, because she's talking to me and her mouth is saying one thing, but her face is completely like, I'm gonna take your glass. I mean, I saw it come over her, like somebody had her arm twisted. I'm like, you don't have to, really. I don't need that, it's fine. No, I'm gonna take your glass. So I thought, that girl's she probably will bail, because I could tell on her face that she was very conflicted, and now I know why.